Hey, hey, family. You know what? Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. My topic for today, the beast inside of you. My topic of today is the beast inside of you. You know what the beast is that I'm basically talking about? Your characters or defects. Like the resentment, the anger, the fear, the jealousy, the insecurities, the distrust, those things that tends to cause us to act out in very unhealthy ways. Did y'all know that? I'm going to share this because I'm looking at the time, right? Please listen closely when a person talk about themselves. I have never ran across so many people in my life who get upset when an individual can talk about like how they used to live a certain way of life and they no longer live that way no more. How they've been going out into the public to help other people recondition their lives because they learned from their mistakes. And this is the way I was taught. In order for me to have something to talk about, right? This is what they used to tell us in NA early on. Share my experience, my strengths, and my hopes. So in order for me to do that, I have to experience some stuff out of life in order to share it in life. That's not hard, family, to understand. I've been asking a lot of questions about TikTokers because I only get this from here. I'm telling y'all. And see, what I try not to do, family, keep in mind, because of my housing program, I deal with people with psychological issues. Some people need meds. Some people need to buy professionals to help balance them back out without meds. I understand all that. So why, when I talk with people, it's like y'all cannot understand a goddamn word I be saying. You know why? I trips out because y'all be trying to figure me out rather than listening to me. I just left this platform and everything I said out my mouth, people was trying to critique. And understand I'm only sharing from what I have experienced in my life. How can you tell somebody that they're wrong about their own personal experience? How in the world can you tell another human being if they telling you what they have experienced? I want to say with my own two eyes, right? you're going to tell that person they lying. Well, I don't really mean you lying, but this is, what is it? Let me stop. Because a lot of y'all really confuses me. Y'all really confuses Big Unc. Y'all really confuses me. Because I cannot go wrong when I talk about my own life, my own experience. And I love how people will try to sit back and switch my stuff around to fit their narrative. Please stop, family. One thing I learned about life, right? And my old sponsor told me this. Whatever a person say out their mouth, I don't really know if they telling me the truth or not, but just believe what they saying is true. Because I don't know. And he told me when you don't, because you have trust issues. And that really stuck with me. We don't know if everything in the Bible is true. But I'm going to tell you this. AI, I was asking them questions the other day. And they pointed out the 3 major people or entities within the Bible that I always talk about. The mission that God gave Moses. And I can relate to that mission because of being a community activist, being a community organizer, being a homeless advocate. My goal is to help people to turn their lives around. Like if they stuck in certain areas, because they have done all they could with the information that they have as far as in living a productive way of life. But it keep them stuck. Once you realize everything that you've been doing with your own power has backed you up against the wall, that's when you reach out for help. When you have done everything you can think of to do with your life, but it's like it keeps spiraling out of control. Where you become homeless, where you get to the point where you might lost your job, you might lost loved ones and relatives, your marriage messed up, your relationship messed up. And it's like, I don't know what to do no more. That's the whole point of talking about where you at. So you can get the necessary help and moving forward. Now, what I am going to do, which I believe I already know what it is. This is the second panel I was on. And they used the word deconstructing. But they talking about what we was taught biblically. Well, I mentioned post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's been passed down generation after generation after generation, which keeps a lot of people mentally, emotionally, and spiritually enslaved. It's breaking that cycle. So I use that word on this panel on TikTok. Now, mind you, I'm explaining it in my terms for the way I understand it. Do y'all realize when they talked about deconstructing, if you don't believe, if you believe in certain things in the Bible, that's fine. If you don't believe the Bible, that's fine. Because one thing I understand today as a Christian man, everybody don't believe Christ or don't believe that God became flesh and dwell among his people. And if you don't believe it, that's fine. But don't try to convince a believer by you going back in there and saying, well, it wasn't no J's back then, it wasn't no this, it wasn't no that. It doesn't matter. Because when you read in Philippians or you read Bible anyway, didn't Isaiah predicted the virgin's birth? And you'll sit here and tell me, yeah, he did, but did not Mary. He said the virgin's birth. Had the baby, but the baby wasn't conceived between man and woman naturally. Did it not say that? Did not Mary. Now, mind you, the Old Testament, most of them are in there are prophets. So they prophesized about what to come. And what I was taught, if somebody prophesies to you and it doesn't come true, then he lied. I'll be right back so we can finish this. I want to go grab my coffee. So I'll be right back. But I just wanted to start this live too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right. I had to go downstairs and grab my coffee. Um, I'm gonna say this for a lot of people that's on TikTok that have platforms. I respect you to the utmost because I'm gonna tell you why. I will never let just anybody come on my platform if you don't, to me, have a message of hope. Don't waste your time. I'd rather hear you share from a personal level, from a personal level of experience. Because when I hear you do that, I know you talking about something that you've been through or went through and came up out of it. I respect that more than anything else. But if you come up and you try to act real intellectual, intelligent, because of research, because of you studying certain things, I'm gonna look at you like you're dumb. You know why? Because when we do research and we start studying stuff, that's other people's information that you learn, and you calling it as accurate information. Do you realize that? So that's why for me, family, I backed up. What's up, Kendrick? I backed up. What's up? From just thinking about some things that I've been experiencing lately. Um, I told these people this was the second panel I went on, and it was like they had I think the Muslim or Hebrews, then Christianity, then it said Bible. Now, if you don't want to hear what somebody else have to say from a personal experience about certain things, and I'm not trying to be smart, content creators, don't put that type of stuff up. Because everybody that's going to come up is not going to talk about what other people think or believe. I might share some stuff out my mouth that people can relate to, or if they have personal experience it for themselves, Kendrick, then they know I'm sharing the truth. That's how we know each other. So I got off this panel not too long ago, and as a Christian man, stop trying to get it mixed up with the religion. Because when I tell people I'm a Christian man, I'm talking about my character. I'm talking about my personality. I'm talking about emulating Christ's humility. I'm talking about my character. And if I sit back and say this too, I'm a rotten, no good son of a Seabiscuit. Y'all know what we call the devil, right? We call the devil deceitful, a liar, a manipulator. Most of us are the same. Some of us just choose not to live like that just for the day. And you don't even realize it. People don't even realize it, Kendrick. It's good and evil. And then Kendrick, what they have a tendency of doing, they want to go real philosophical. Wait a minute, philosophical with it. and sound real educated with it. And I be laughing because I had to learn to keep it plain and keep it simple. Hey, get up. I had to learn to keep it plain and keep it simple because this is the way I was taught. If I have not experienced what an individual is talking about, Kendrick, I shut my mouth. I shut my mouth. I don't give you my opinion on it. I don't give you what I think. I don't do it. Because 9 times out of 10, whatever we struggle with or whatever we go through in life, we call them trials and tribulations, right? And you go through it and you learn from it. That's why when people ask me certain things, family, like if I can go back in the past, what would I change? And I say nothing. Because Kendrick, I didn't understand that no matter what happened in my life was predestined way before I came here. So God already knew the things that happened, like in the here and now. He already knew it was going to happen. It's how I deal with it. So that's why some things, Kendrick, I try not to take too personal, because when it hit me and reality sink in, it's like God already knew this was going to take place. People sitting up here saying stuff like this, right? We know children become unalive. We know children become AB before they're even born. That's the decision that the parents make. I don't blame that on God. If a woman decides she wants to do certain things with her body, to me, she has that right. And I'm not even going to question it because my wife did that to me. After we had Sienna, she had got pregnant again. And she decided to abort. I was hurt, but that was her choice. I'm not going to sit here as a man and really act like I own her body. I don't own her body. And that's our biggest problem. For some of us as men, Kendrick, we think we own your body. And you don't even own mine. And I realized, Kendrick, throughout my years, I got the right to do with my body whatever I want. And that's what helped me understand, right, that you don't own another person. I didn't create that person, Kendrick. You get me? And I'm only learning this, family, because I was married. I tried to fix my ex-wife. She was dealing with a lot of childhood trauma. I sponsored men and women, so I thought I could basically fix my wife. And I found out I couldn't. That almost drove me crazy. So when I hear other people talk about molding and shaping people, I'll be like, I'm talking like they're a special mate, their mate. I'll be like, oh my God, I know what I went through, so that's why I can laugh. But, and then you wonder, look, then you wonder why y'all always arguing and fighting and fussing. Because you over there trying to dictate how somebody should live their life. If you were sexy and gorgeous when I first met you, you better still be sexy and gorgeous turning me on. If you don't turn me on, what do we do after a while? Step out. So Kendrick, how you doing, bro?
I've been doing good. I did a interview recently that post doing real good numbers right now.
I'm gonna tell you, that video with you and Erica, I was like, yes. I'm gonna tell you, man, and I have to watch this, right? I really care about you, bro. And I know where you at. And I know the hell you're gonna go through for the work that you want to do. Because it's a lot of people that's going to come against you. That's why I don't let nobody deter you from what you do. And I can only share this because you is a separate entity compared to a lot. And I'm just saying it because you aren't getting at this point, like me, government funding, so you don't have to answer to them, right?
Mhm.
But now, once you do go into that arena, the goal is to make sure each dime you get go towards the program. So
Yeah,
many
I'm ready to
people.
get me a office to open up the youth program.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that next year. Um, but so far, what I got for the rest of this year planned is the community walk and I'm going to do feeding the homeless, like basically giving back to the homeless or whatever in the community. Um, that's basically to close out this year. I'm doing that sometime in November.
All right. And see, I'm looking at you too because you still young and you got a lot of energy in you. And I had got 16-foot box truck, and I could put 8 pallets on that box truck. So I was getting donations from all over to give back to the community. I even helped some people move. Right, I didn't charge them the way a regular moving company would charge you expensively, right? But it was all about serving the community, and that's where I met. Even talking on this, this is the way I put out information where I do not have to be out in front of the cameras all the time like I used to be. Doing interviews. This is just my way of getting the message out, which I love it. I love it. You know, I know I'm just not when I open up my mouth, I'm not just talking about people. I'm not just talking to the people in Baltimore City, but I know people hear me all over the world. And that's what I tell people. If you ever see Maxwell Harris on my Facebook page, Maxwell Harris is from Liberia, right? Buchanan. And actually, I started a foundation in Africa with Maxwell. So I'll send him money. To be honest with you, the goal was to start sending them product. But that was a little bit at that time expensive for me to get out. So I had to deal with people that deal with containers that send stuff overseas in order to put a pallet or two on it. So I got to the point at one time, Kendrick, that I felt like Baltimore City didn't appreciate nothing I did. So my goal was, since they act like they didn't appreciate the stuff I was doing, I was going to send the products overseas. My thing is, forget y'all. But I had to stop looking at it like that. And because people going to say stuff to kind of discourage you, try to cut you down, make you look bad. They're gonna do it. Like when you ever hear me say I'm known as the big mouth bald head black dude, that's the name that the people in Baltimore City gave me. That was their way of trying to cut me down. And it did hurt my feelings, but I said, okay, that's the way y'all look at it. I'm gonna be the big mouth bald head black dude. I'm gonna flip it for something positive. And then when I was talking with Lady J, she said she wanted to meet me. She said, you considered as the most hated man in Baltimore City. I'm like, what? Now, mind you, I'm a community activist. I'm doing all of this stuff to fight for our civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. It wasn't a white man that gave me those titles. It was the black people. And then when Steve introduced me on his show, he introduced me as the most controversial man in Baltimore City. And in my heart, in my spirit, I'm doing something positive for the city as far as the community wise. Not realizing to them, I appeared more of a problem than the solution. I was coming for our politicians real bad, calling names and everything. Could have been sued for defamation of character. I had to stop calling names. I can talk about certain situations.
Yeah, I don't really call out people. People like right now I'm in a process of trying to request to sit down with Brandon Scott. I was recently talking to my sister. She has connects with Brandon Scott. But I'm basically trying to talk to Brandon Scott about a few things in the city. And, I do have my differences with Brandon Scott, and I do sometimes dislike him. But I feel like if I can get a sit down and, talk to him, I can put my differences aside and work together to, fix some things.
And let me, because I was coming for him real bad too. Let me share
I don't
this.
have a problem with Brandon Scott. The only problem I have with him is, some people say the murder rate is going down, but I feel like the murder rate hasn't really changed. I feel like it's the same. I don't feel like it went up or down. I feel like it's been the same for years. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, I can tell you personally, it went down because we was fighting to get the plane up over Baltimore City in 2017. It was 343 at the end of that year, right? Now, they fought us not to get that plane here and in Baltimore City. The ACLU and all that fought us. But my thing is, y'all sitting up here complaining about the spy plane. We got cameras all over the place. They monitoring you anyway. When certain things happen, like people being taken out, if they actually wanted to resolve that right then and there, they can. But in my eyesight and the people that I deal with, they leave them out here to continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I do feel that way in some way, because I do feel like the killing could stop, but also I feel like what the city lacks in is giving the youth an opportunity to do things, to explore. Like a lot of people, you got a lot of undiscovered talent in Baltimore City that you won't know about unless they get locked up or like then they out. It's like you won't know about certain things for real in Baltimore City because the city don't promote that type of stuff. They rather promote or pay for out of town artist or out of town person to come in the city and do activities versus getting the city and getting all these different organizations and doing one big activity for the city or open one big building to where as though people, you want to rap, you go ahead rap, you want to do nails, open up a shop where certain amount of people can go do nails throughout the week. You want to do hair, you got a shop, a salon for people to do hair for real. You don't gotta pay to go, have your own salon like you do, volunteer work. So whereas though like people come in and do hair, they might charge they fee, but they can't charge over a certain amount. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's different shit that the city could do to prevent certain things for real, but they just rather put their money in other places.
The last time I had my hair cut, it cost me $10.
And now it costs $40, $50 to get your hair, just to get your hair cut.
My son pays 60.
Oh man, yeah,
And
I ain't paying 60. Like that's why I haven't got my hair cut in so long. Like I grew my hair out. Like I ain't get my hair cut. I get my girl to do my hair. I don't got to pay nothing.
come on, $60. And some people pay way more than that.
But
$200-300.
that's because of the cost of living went up. Cost of living went up. You know, a one bedroom costs almost $1,500 just to rent a room, and then you got gas, electric, like gas, BG&E, like $200-300 a month. You know, so it's like altogether you spending damn near like $2,500 a month just to be able to survive. That's not even including food and stuff, because food stamps only give you like $100 to $200, and food is so high. So it's like, at some point, I understand why people charge so much, because it's like, yo, you gotta really charge so much just to afford living, and it's sad that you gotta tax your own people to afford living, but that's the way life is set up.
Let me share this with you. I started working when I was 14 years old. I retired at 58. I get SSDI. I get more money than most people get. I get 3 times the amount that an individual get off of SSI. Now that's because I've been working since I was 14. So out of all the years that I'm taking taxes out my money, I'm getting it back through retirement. SSDI is what people get from working. SSI is what people that never worked get, and they don't get as much. I can live comfortably off of just what I get off of SSDI. And I share that with people because this is how I like to do it. When people like to brag and boast and stuff like that, right? I hit them with this one right here. I came out of school in the 10th grade, and I do it to be smart. I got a 9th grade education, but I drove tractor trailers on and off for 35 years. I put my children through college. I'm looking at them being very, very, very independent people. So you cannot tell me that individuals can't grow and prosper in life. Then to be able to retire at 58, I just knew I was going to retire from trucking, at least in my 70s. God had other plans, right? So now I'm looking at that. And not only that, I started my own LLC. I ain't done by far, even though I came out of school in the 10th grade. I use a lot of my own street, just like Jay-Z and them. I use a part of my old street information to help me run my business. I use the spiritual principles of the NA program, the 12 steps, 12 traditions, 12 concepts to run my business. Just flip the script. So the reason why I'm saying that, because you have to be a living example of what you actually promoting and talking about. Because some people going to ask you, how was you able to do this? How was you able to do that? Right? And what I learned, you have to share a process of how you was able to walk up out of certain situations in life and stay out of it a day at a time. You just can't preach to them. And that's what a lot of people do. They're going to preach, and the Lord said, and this and this. A guy helped me with that. A guy asked me one time, he was like, how was you able to like get clean and stay clean a day at a time? And I'm just running off in my mouth. He said, no. Step by step. You got to explain step by step. And what it did, it had me back up to actually help him understand. And that's the same way when I don't understand something like computer wise. I will ask my kids. My kid's going to tell me how to do such and such and such. I said, no, you got to show me. You got to walk me through it step by step, because see, once you're gone, I need to remember how to go back through it, to get where I need to go. I can't call you every time and say, hey, how do you do this again? How do you do that again? So that's our biggest problem, some of us, because we talk it, but we don't actually help people implement those things into their lives. That's why I tell people, I know I got a big mouth. I know I talk a lot, but my actions speak louder than anything I can say out my mouth. Because that's what Lisa Pierce helped me understand. She said, Mr. Copeland, we understand you're doing this. We understand you're doing that in Baltimore City. But people got to actually see your work. And it hit me. Bing! You got to walk.
That's why I be more so like doing like community work, like doing community cleanups. Right now I'm looking for a spot to do the community walk. For real. That's what I'm really looking at, like trying to find a good area to do the community walk. Do you know any good areas? Like I need the attention.
Well, actually, it's good if you do it in the area that you wanted to have your I was going to say cookout in, back to school.
It's not a lot of attention. I need like attention. When I mean with attention, like people outside, like you get what I'm saying, like because I'm having two news people to come out, WMAR and WBAL. They asked me to, once I get the location, let them know so they can come out. But I want to aim towards like going towards City Hall. But what street would I start on?
Well, actually, you would want to go down near Martin Luther King Boulevard. But I'm just saying this right here because as a West Side baby that grew up from North Avenue and Linden Avenue, all of that area is my vision in helping to grow back up.
All right, so, is that going to build the attention? Because whereas though I have multiple people joining in, that's the goal, is to, as I'm walking, multiple people are joining in the walk.
Well, keep in mind, keep talking about what you want to do. And then you got to make sure your date and time is straight. And who show up supposed to show up.
Okay, so what time would you prefer? What do you think I should do?
You got to look at your schedule, because I can't.
My schedule is free, so it's like I need the time where a time where a lot of people is out. So like, what time would you say? Because if you say MLK,
I don't know.
Said,
right? Wait a minute. I don't know, and the reason why I say that, because no matter what time you set, what you doing, you come on TikTok.
Yeah.
And you throw it out. Let people know which day when you're gonna do it.
It's on August 22nd.
All right.
I'm doing it August 22nd. Now I'm gonna update the flyer. It's going to be on MLK. I'm gonna start on MLK, and it's gonna lean towards City Hall. So what streets would I take towards City Hall?
If you want MLK in Pennsylvania, you want to basically go down I'm going to say Green Street. You want to go straight down Pennsylvania Avenue towards the University of Maryland, You make that left and head straight towards City Hall. That's where you want to go at, right?
Yes, towards City Hall,
Right.
because because towards City Hall.
Now the only reason why
the goal is because all right. So what time? All right. So I want to do it during the day, because it's like, all right, I want to have the news out, and I want to get City Hall, like, kind of get their, not attention, but attention. You get what I'm saying? Like,
well, you're going to get their attention, but keep in mind, the thing is they're going to want to come and talk to you. Christine Flowers do it all the time. And the majority of the times they ignore her.
Well, I don't really care about, my goal is to talk to Brandon Scott. That's the only person I want to talk to at this point. But the goal is just to put kind of shed some light on my sister's situation, basically. That's the goal, because it's like, all right, years go by. It's been 5 years. It's like no answer or nothing. You get what I'm saying? So the goal is to basically shed more light on her situation so that the city could, feel like get pressured, like not pressured, but like pressured into, really finding out, like getting information. You get what I'm saying? Like more information, getting justice for her.
But I can tell you right now, he's not going to touch it.
Yeah, I know.
Now, reason why I'm saying that,
because that's not on his agenda.
Right.
And a lot of people told me that.
Right.
And even City Hall wound up telling me that. But it's like, all right. It's like, all right. But I'ma still shed some light on the situation, because it's like somebody somewhere is gonna, get what I'm saying, and somehow I feel like it's going to get, I don't know, like.
Well, look, I want you to keep this in mind. Right now, this is your biggest weapon. Talking on TikTok, talking on this right here. Because number one, March 11th,
yeah, 2000. I already contacted the mayor's office, and that's why they told me contact. They don't. That's not really on his specific agenda.
Right. March 11th. Wait a minute, Kendrick. March 11th, 2023. I went to Brandon Scott budget meeting, and when he came in, I hugged him and I said, "Nephew, I got to talk to you about the Eastern District Police Department, how they was coming for me." This was March 11th. March the 12th, I was gone. I was arrested. I don't think he had anything to do with it, but other people told me he did. I don't believe it. Right? That was their way of getting me off the street. That was their way of shutting my mouth. I was charged with 14 charges by white police: home invasion, burglary, armed robbery, and all of this on my own rental property and business. Then the detective lady got mad at me, and she charged me with 3 more. Now, mind you, I'm on 3 years probation right now for something that I did not do. Somebody asked me, did you talk with Ivan Bates to let him know what had happened to you? I said, no, I didn't know I could. But I did write him a few times, because I'm the one that helped Ivan Bates twice when he ran for attorney, for his seat. Not only that, Commissioner Harris, I tried to reach out to him 3 times because of this bull junk I was going through with the officers in Baltimore City. But now, mind you, when you standing up for righteousness, a lot of people ain't gonna like it. That's in authority, that's in power. But this what that taught me: the power of the ink pen and the paper. Because guess what? I knew I didn't do nothing wrong. The police officer knew I didn't do nothing wrong. The judge didn't know, and the prosecutor didn't know. But the only people that knew the truth was me and that police. So now to this day, if I ever get called out to speak on the Innocent Project, I can tell them what happened to me because I witnessed it firsthand. And I understand the power of the ink pen in the paper. I have not, and it's 3 years later, I have not went to court to talk to a judge about Steve Copeland, what he do about his housing program and all this type of stuff, right? Because they made sure they fixed it where I didn't never go to trial. That's why I said this. I understand because of the work that you doing. I understand the obstacles you're going to come across.
Yeah, I'm also not trying to go against the program. I'm trying to work with the program.
That's the point. You talking about solutions, that's not what some of them are about.
Yeah.
And that's why my biggest thing is do not sway. One thing I will not do is sell our people out. I've been offered $1 million quite a few times to walk away from what I do, to step back. It was a police officer that told me I should have took the money and just changed the name of my business. I said, God darn it, I ain't even think about that. But that's not what my spirit is. It's not to deceive the people. And that's why, for me, I can tell you right now, dealing with Brandon Scott, I call him nephew. Dealing with Antonio Hayes, which is the senator for the 7th district, I call him nephew. I grew up with his mother and his father, and I'm around around them Fulton in Pennsylvania. I grew up with them. I used to come around and ask people, where Pinky son at? Where Pinky son? I didn't know he got into politics. I didn't know that. But now, because of the work I do as a human rights advocate, as a community activist, my voice, and this is what Mackenzie Frost called me. She called me the voice for Baltimore City. I speak out for the voiceless. And I called Mackenzie about the stuff I was going through with the Eastern District Police Department. I talked with Isabel Cummins about what I was going through or what I went through. And I told Isabel Cummins, I'm not going to keep helping the police in Baltimore City because they turn against me. When they get paid to protect and serve, I don't. So I'm in the community helping with programs and stuff to slow a lot of this bull crap down. But I found out, Kendrick, they make money off the pain and misery. I'm the one that have to understand the difference between politics and solutions. They create the laws.
I do want to get into politics, but my agenda is not to, not to create more problems. It's to fix problems. The only thing, I don't really see too much of a crooked Brandon Scott, or I really see like the system is kind of shifting to, fix a lot of things. That's what I do see. I do see, the system trying to fix certain things, but you also do have still got people that is stuck in their old ways. So you got people that's been in office for years, and then you got some new people that's actually trying to do good. So you got them battling off with the people that's still doing, still stuck in that old.
There you go. That's what you got to understand. He don't make decisions by himself. It's like It's a team of them, right? And the only reason why I can say this, Kimberly Clacy ran for Congress, and I was part of her team. As far as we would tell her what to say, how to say it, we would write her speeches. Excuse me. And because I grew up in the city, I can tell you basically the things to say to them. But now, this where I'm at. Don't be feeding our people no fake and phony information. You're gonna tell them you're gonna make promises, right? If I get in, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And once you get in, you don't do it. And that's what disappointed me with both parties, the Republican parties and the Democrats. I got disappointed in the Democrats because I started seeing how they was running the city in the hole. Then I end up becoming a Republican. They was talking about how, oh, they want to come in the city and help people do this and help people do that. I'm like, come on, because I'm already in the city. Come on, because y'all can help me better, you know, with these programs. Watch this. Where they at? They talk the good game. They not in this.
Never was able to. Maryland is a Democratic state. So if you got hella people that's Democrat and you got a few people that's Republican, who you more likely to get in office every time? You gotta like I feel like this go round, I feel like the only reason why Westmore got in office is because Joe Biden and Kamala. But I feel like this go round, the Democrats not gonna get another chance.
Yes,
because they messed up so bad.
Let me share this. I wouldn't keep.
And I feel like the Republicans, they doing Donald Trump. The one thing I can say about Donald Trump is a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump. But the one thing I can always say about Donald Trump is he will tell the truth. He will tell you what he's ready to do, and he mean what he say he's going to do. There's no cap in that man game. He's blunt, and that's what a lot of people don't like. They like, oh yeah, he going to get us. He haven't got us in one war. None of that stuff. None of that. Like it's like Trump doing.
Say that again.
Trump is doing Trump.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
What? Trump
He haven't got us in any war.
That we haven't, like, I feel like Trump know what he's doing. Let's say if you put Kamala Harris in that office, we'd have been engulfed up in flames.
Let me say
we'd
this.
Have been engulfed up
Let
in
me
flames.
say this. Let me say this. Is Donald Trump a politician?
No, he's a businessman.
All right, so why do we do this? Why do we do this? He said it straight out. He said, I am not a politician. I'm a businessman that happened to run. So basically what he's telling you, I do not have a degree in political science.
You don't need a degree to run.
Okay. And guess what? What policies or what did he create? What policies did he actually sit down and write and created?
I don't know what policy.
Well, then you should if you want to represent that, because you know what?
I don't represent no party because both parties haven't done nothing. Joe Biden really hasn't done nothing.
Hold up, Candy, hold up. Let me say this again. You are the solution, Kendrick. You are the solution to whatever policies they create. Yes, you are. No, you are. You are. You know why? Because of Kelly's opportunity. And if I pronounce the name wrong, I apologize. Kelly, you are the solution because you are the one in the community putting in the work. What politicians in the community actually doing what you do on the ground? You didn't realize that? That's what I had to realize. Them suckers run off at their mouth. You and I come up with the people like us. Come up with the solutions to the problem. No. We the ones that come up with the solution towards the laws that they create, either to empower the people or harm the people. The goal is you got people like us, like us, like Baltimore Peace Movement. They are in the community doing the grassroots work as far as putting programs together to help people to become obedient to the laws, not your politicians. That's why I had to back up off of them, because I was sitting up here laying them out for stuff that they cannot do on their own. It's the people. as a community organizer, I can come into the community with the people that I work with, and we can help you gain control over your smug infested community to slow it down. Because who in your community turned up your community? It's normally your children. I know when I was coming up, we didn't just let anybody come in our community and try to run it. You didn't do that. And if the stick-up boys came, we had something for you. So guess what? It hit me one day. It's us as parents that need to gain control over our unorganized children and help them with everything you're saying. Lil Steve played soccer since he was 5 years old. He's 23. My daughters did modern dance, tap, and all of that. So that's why I started the Stephen Copeland Jr. Multi-Purpose Center for Inner City Youth to put programs into the communities to help slow a lot of it down. That's why I had to get involved in the community to see what organizations in the communities doing this, doing that, doing this, so I know which way to come myself. And when you do your business plans, right, it's going to ask you what makes your program different from other people that have programs like that. In my program, I want a daycare center. You don't hear too many people talking about that. I want a therapist in there. I want a PRP because we got a lot of young babies, 10, 11, being raped. Boys too. So now the goal is to address those issues. That's the same things I told Brandon Scott. I said, you got to get to the root cause of why our children acting the way they acting. Because some of them not going to just act out just for the hell of it if they was taught the right way. My kids didn't. And they know daddy didn't play that. And if you disrespected your teacher and you disrespected your elders, you got discipline. And they'll tell you that. My father ain't played. And it wasn't that I was a mean, nasty dude. That's the way my mother raised me, to respect my elders and teachers. Because the teachers, when you in school during those hours, they are the babysitter. That give me a chance to go out and work and do what I got to do, then come and get you after school. So a lot of parents don't understand that, and they'll go and they'll jump on teachers. When you got a teacher, at one point they might have had 15 children in the classroom. Now they got 26, so they overloaded.
But they don't have the help no more. Or I feel like schools need to cut back on certain curriculums, because, and this is how I always felt, because I feel like school really doesn't teach you life skills. For real, school teaches you, all right, I feel like math is okay, reading is okay, but I feel like all that social studies, that's stuff that's okay, but I feel like they should push more trades and more like financial literacy, bring back cursive writing, stuff like that, because it's like after school, after you graduate, it's either you find a job or you have to have good grades to go to college. So it's like a lot of the times people, you might, out of the whole school, you might got 50% of that school having good grades, and then the other 50% don't have nothing. So it's like, I feel like if you implement more trades and more life skills training, then I feel like the city would change some type of way, because people won't look to, oh, I gotta go sell drugs, or I gotta go rob somebody, or I gotta go work at McDonald's. There would be more people who are like, oh, I can, buy a house, or I can, start my own business. There will be more entrepreneurship and more structure in the city, for real. And as well as this, the city and the state giving grants and funding. There's not a lot of funding, and there's not a lot of grants that the city is willing to give out. You got to have a A1 program in order for the city to give you $1 So it's like, I feel like if they open up the grants and, you know, give people more of an opportunity, I feel like the city would change. Instead of having 50% of the city doing good, you probably would have 70% of the city doing good. And that other 40%, it's like, all right, that's a work in progress.
Do you know who give out that grant money?
You got the city grants, you got the state grants, and you also got federal grants.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, basically, locally. Do you know who give out grants?
No. Okay. I was looking into that last night, and basically for what I want to do, I have to get all these different types of certifications to run certain programs, like my GED program. I have to, you know, I have to have a certain code. I have to have a building. I have to have, you know, certain like classroom codes, certain teachers and stuff like that. And for my trades, I have to have the school, the building up to code. Like, so it's like, for me, I more so have to have a mentor and start with a mentor program. Start with a mentor program and start with a GED training, like tutoring, like teaching, you know, students type situation, and then work my way up to a GED and trade school.
Now, let me share this with you. You know, I have all that, right? I have all that. Everything you mentioned. Now, I'm going to do this. I am an LLC. I'm the one that hires the professionals to come in to do the work. As long as you're a licensed professional and you can get paid by Medicaid, because most of the people we deal with have medical insurance, and that's what pays for their services. So now I have a guy that's with me who tutors. I gave him an office space in the building. In the back area, I was going to turn it into a playground for the children, like swings, stuff like that. And then a plant area, right, where we can grow stuff. But everything that I set up for people to come in to do.
Where's your center at?
No, this one I was down at 908. But now, keep in mind, what I was trying to explain to you as well, and I don't want to confuse you. It's a 5-phase process coming into my housing program. Number one, because I'm not a licensed professional, if you have a mental health program, you are a mental health care provider, and you provide all these services like PRP, therapy, and psychiatry. And if you're good at what you do, I will refer clients to you, to your business. If I find out you're not treating the clients is not getting the proper help that they rightfully deserve, I will remove them from your business. That's the power and authority you have when you get into position. When people want to come in, and if they license, they already know that it's Medicaid that pay for their services. Now, when I talk about the apprenticeship programs, you have people like Lisa Pierce that has a workforce development program where she trained people. You have people like Michelle have a workforce development program where she trained people. These are people that you will send your clients to because they get government funding to do the job. I don't have to sit up here and put everything under my belt. It's to make sure I fellowship with other entities that's doing it. I just provide the clients. And I try to make that real clear to everybody I talk to. I'm just a temporary to permanent housing program. So the goal is to prepare you when you come into my housing program, that once you graduate from the program, to be more productive and responsible again. in life. And hopefully you won't make the same mistakes again. But now it's up to the individual. So all of that stuff, I already know as a person with 30-something years clean what to do to help people prepare. That's what I've been doing. But guess what? When it comes to the licensed professionals, is who I guide them to. Even if I want to open up a recreation center, and if I want somebody that can teach soccer, if you are a licensed trainer, I got the space for you to come and teach. I can bring you aboard. If you are a volleyball coach, these are licensed professionals. And I got a field. And I want you to come on this field to train and teach the inner city children. You the one got to know what to do. So by you being licensed, you show me all your information. If you want me to give you clients to work with, you got to show me your credentials. If you don't do it, it's nothing I can do. That's business. As a person that runs an LLC, well, 2 L's, I ain't gonna let nobody step up in my business and tell me what to do. I don't care who you is. You're not gonna step in here. Because I already know what God laid on my spirit to do. And my goal is not to derive from what he called me to do. If y'all know the 7 days a week, excuse me, family, excuse me, 7 days a week, I come on my live. Some days I do not feel like it. Some days I'm not for it. I'm like, the heck with them, blah, blah, blah. I ain't no different than nobody else. But once I get myself out the way and I come on to present certain things, that's the spirit working through me. Then I'm sitting here telling people what we can do to create a new Be More City. Rebuilding our communities. When I run off at my mouth, if you say, like, you hear where I'm at, right here, you notice I didn't go down here, right here, and you're a little bit further up because your feet is planted a lot more solid than mine, the goal is to guide me to that next level. That's why we say each one teach one. That's why we say stuff like that. I'm good for where I'm at for now. But in my heart and in my mind, I can do a lot better. But I gotta listen. I gotta learn. Anybody that knows me, I put on functions and all of that. I just haven't been able to do a lot of it like I used to because of what happened to me 3 years ago. Sometimes you got to listen to what people are saying. Then I tell people, right, I used to hustle back in the days. I don't hustle no more. But when I share those personal stories with people, it's like, oh, that don't matter. That's because you don't understand the difference between the old person and the new person that I have become. Because of the new belief system that I have. And you never want to question it. You never want to question it. But let me do this right here so I can get ready to end this. The beast inside of you. Recognize the beast. Accept the truth. Surrender and release. Renew your mind. Rise and transparency. Rise and transform. Every time I open up my mouth, right, I talk about the old man. I talk about the old man. And then I'll tell you about the new man. When you read the Old Testament, that was the first covenant that God made with them during that time. The New Testament is the new covenant that God made with the people during this time. Now, mind y'all, I didn't understand a lot of this early on. So psychologically, don't sit back and try to demean what I'm saying. Because when I make statements out my mouth, right, once I was blind, that meant I didn't understand this at one point in my life. Once I was lost, I was caught up in the streets. I'm not caught up anymore. What's so hard about that? For you to understand with this. When I sit here and I tell people, right, you could not tell me the life that I was living, I was wrong. And I was poisoning the people in the community and myself. So listen what people telling you about them. I can talk about me and how it used to be, and then I can talk about me, how I no longer live like that. And then I try to make my words so plain and simple for a lot of y'all. The things that I used to do as a child, I don't do no more as a man. And it will fly right over people's head. It will fly right, and I don't get it. A lot of stuff in an unhealthy way, I used to get a lot of pleasure out of. I used to get a lot of pleasure out of it. And then it started becoming more painful. I had to let it go. Because I seen how it was destroying my life. It's just, look. Every time I say stuff, y'all be trying to figure, well, see, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Because it's not going to make sense to you if you never experienced what I'm talking about. Want me to say it again? It's never going to make sense to you if you have not personally walked through my shoes or traveled the road I traveled. It is not. And then a lot of people sit back and say, he always talk about him. Who else am I going to talk about? And I said, I'm going to start asking y'all that. Since y'all want to be like, you ain't got to be so personal, you ain't got this and that. Why you telling me I ain't got to be so personal? Because you ain't personal. Do y'all realize this is what you saying to somebody like me? I don't want everybody to know my business. I understand that. It's a lot of people that don't. But look at the freedom that some of us have in our lives for being able to open up our mouth and set ourselves free. That's what a lot of y'all miss. And then you try to figure it out. And then you get mad with me when you talk a good philosophical game, right? And my thing is, with all this great knowledge and wisdom, I'm talking about from research and studying and all of this type of stuff, what are you actually doing to help change lives in the community? I asked the lady that before I came over here. She said, well, I'm on here. I understand that. That's why I'm on here. And I'm live streaming, guess what? To 9 other platforms. Matter of fact, 10 altogether. I do 9 on my laptop while I'm sitting here leaning back in my chair. And I do a stream TV broadcast network that I created as well. So you're going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. But I done created all of this stuff to put out misinformation. And then if I ask you that, you'd be like, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Yes, it is what you're saying. You playing with yourself. You're not playing with me. And then get mad when I point it out. This lady kept wanting to ask me questions. The moment I flipped the script, she ain't want to answer. But it's okay for you to ask questions to somebody else. Then you get mad when they don't answer the question the way you think they should. I've been there with all of that. Sometimes you might ask a person a question, right? And I'm going to make stuff real plain and clear to you. Do not ask Steve Copeland anything if you're not willing to sit for a good half an hour and listen. Do not. And I'll tell you that, and you'll screw your own self by looking for a quick answer. I'm trying to get better with giving quick answers. That trips me out. People want to ask you a question, then basically tell you how to answer it. But see, that's not what I was saying. Oh, no, that's not what you wanted to hear. You looking to hear something that'll suit you. But you ask the question, I open up my mouth to explain it, and you don't get it. That's the part that trips me out. Don't ask nobody anything if you're not willing to listen for the answer. And don't tell them how to answer. I can tell you right now, I know for a fact, anytime I open up my mouth, I confuse everybody. Not everybody, but most of the people. You know why? Because you right here. I couldn't understand it for the longest time. I'm sharing from a level of personal experience, basically spirit-wise, the courage and the confidence that's inside of me. And if your spirit isn't attached to me, or you're not listening to me with your spirit, my words will go right over your head. And they so plain and so simple. And that's what I started realizing. I could not understand why people couldn't understand me. But I noticed it's a big difference between the spirit world and based around religion. That's why I pay a lot of attention to what people are saying. That's why I pay a lot of attention. Y'all want to know if there's a God out there for real or not, right? I sat back and I told some people earlier, family, I yelled out in 1993, God, please help me. I was guided to Total Healthcare. Total Healthcare was the one that gave me a list to go to NA meetings. It was AA meetings at first, but then I ended up going to NA, and that's why I've been there a day at a time. I moved away from the religious side of everything because I began to see something totally different as I began to grow spiritually. I tell you now, even though religious is the basis, like this, the solid ground that we stand on, my journey then went spiritual now. I'm only telling you the transformation with me. And do you know you got people that wants to sit back and try to twist up what I'm saying, how God worked with me at 64 years old, like I'm lost. Or let me say this, a higher power, or that third eye, that energy. You want to call it something different? I understand all that. It's however you see the beauty in life. When I take a walk, I'm one with nature. Normally, when I take a walk, it's to get out of this place, this space right here, I'm trying to say, and move my heart and my mindset into something else. So when I'm out in public and I'm looking at the trees, the flowers, the beauty of nature, that's a beautiful feeling. Why would I want to sit back and tell somebody, oh, what you feeling is not real? What? So I've been married twice. My first wife, I love her. My second wife, I love her. Not only did I understand the point of loving her, my second wife, I'm in love with. Do you understand the difference between loving a person and being in love with that person? And if you don't, let somebody explain it to you. And then people say stuff like this, well, if you love that person, why you do this? Why you do that? That was that scared little boy inside of me. When he started feeling uncomfortable about life, he ran. Well, why did you do this? Why you do that? And you said you love it. What did I just say? That don't make no sense. I know it don't. But it does to me. Because I had to go in and revisit that little boy. Did you? And gain control over that little boy. And tell that little boy, stop. Cut it out. But I had to go back and look at why I was running. See, I can talk about that as a person with the working knowledge of the 12 steps. As a person that does a self-inventory. And if I feel as though I'm not getting the right answer that I'm looking for, I can always reach out to a therapist. I can always talk to my sponsor. I can always talk to my pastor. I can always talk to somebody else that will listen to me. And if they hear something out of order, they can share it back with me. And then what I say, there you go. And it's working on a solution to resolve whatever issues it is. Y'all hear how I'm talking? It's called being self-aware. Knowing who you are. It's not about being intellectual. It ain't about me researching stuff to have a better understanding of having a conversation and being able to sound so physiological. A lot of y'all do that here on TikTok. And see, when you mess with somebody like me, I'm going to pick with you. You know, I work with the homeless population, right? I help people put their lives back in order. And then I'll ask you, what do you do? Because now you want to try to critique a man that actually give his life to help others gain a life. And you don't. But I'm the problem. I love y'all. And I'm getting ready to end this. The panel that I left off on, I told them, I said, thanks y'all, I love y'all, blah, 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 because I share stuff. And I know for a fact, if you're not on a spiritual journey or spiritual healing process, you will not catch what I'm saying. You will not. I already know that. But I can't stop doing what I'm doing because of you and how you see life. If I sit here and tell you at 64 years old, I don't date women my age. Why? Or I explain it to you, but do you want to hear it? And if I tell you I don't date women over 200 pounds, why? That's what I desire. Just listen to what he's saying. That's your biggest problem. Now the goal is to grow up and start dating women to get married again, closer towards my age. Because I understand a little bit more now than I did when I was a lot younger. My ex-wife is 48. Ain't that a prime example? Oh, yeah, he do like younger women. Huh? So am I lying? And you'll find something in your head to try to fix it like, yeah, you lie. You'll do that. I get it. I get it. I get it. All the time. That's why, for me, the work that I do, I have to listen to people and evaluate them so I know better how to work with you. And because I sponsor men and women and then women with children, I have to pay close attention to what they're saying out their mouths. Sound kind of weird, don't it? And it's okay. Love y'all, family. Tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, God's will, it's the Teen Talk Show. I try to fix it where us as parents can talk about our children. Now, if you're the type of parent that's healthy, responsible, and productive as far as you teaching your kids how to live a healthy way of life, my goal is come up here and share it with other people. Some people, they doing everything they can. And it's like they stuck. So sometimes a parent needs to hear that I'm struggling with my 13-year-old or my 14-year-old or my 15-year-old. And this is what I'm doing to better help our relationship. So many of y'all are so afraid to talk about self. And then don't never get mad at somebody who's been through certain things and can be able to express themselves as a grown man and tell you where they at and how they feeling or how they, felt. Let me put it like that. You got to listen. 64 years old. I can't tell you if my father living or not. And you know what a lot of y'all will turn around and do? Oh, don't worry about that. I wouldn't even like to. It ain't like I try to worry about it. It's just from time to time it pops in my head. And I wonder if he's still living or not. Do I have brothers and sisters? Oh, don't worry about that. Now I'm getting ready to start being truly sarcastic. Why would you tell somebody that? Just understand where they at. That's all. Now, guess what? When I hear a 9 or 10 or 11-year-old kid say something like that, you know how that makes me feel? Be honest, I can really relate. When you that young and your dad might be living 2 doors down, don't even want to be bothered with you. Or might live 2 blocks away, don't even be bothered with you. And y'all think that's okay. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm only saying it because that's what a lot of y'all say. And what that does, that helps me to personally understand how detached you are with your feelings and emotions when they come to life. Do y'all realize that? That helps me see where you at. How detached you are when it comes to dealing with your feelings and emotions. That sounds crazy, don't it? But it's true. And then you want other people to feel spiritually disconnected, I'm sorry, because you're not connected. And then you want to tell other people they wrong. Well, that's what they taught us back in the old days. Uh-huh.